The Human Experience. Inside the Humanities at Stanford University. humanexperience.stanford.edu.
Working with professional actors is wonderful. I've been doing that ever since I was a kid, so it's a treat to just continue to do that. But it's a very sort of immersive professional experience, I would say, with how much we're working each day and the great, collaborative work we're doing. And it's, incredibly amazing to get paid to do this work, which is such a gift. I've done a lot of Shakespeare, but I've never done any classical Greek productions, only studying it from like an academic perspective. I read the Odyssey when I was a freshman, in high school. And so one thing that's really similar, I guess, is the richness in language. And that's such a treat and a challenge, obviously, to work with as an actor, but it's almost everything, like in Shakespeare, a lot of your characterization and direction can come from the language itself, which is really nice. I think the audience might take away or relate to just the fundamental, human yearning to be loved and at home, whatever home means to them. Certainly to Odysseus, that means returning to Ithaca and to his wife Penelope and his family there. And not being able to do so is the pain of life and all the struggle that he, encounters on his journey.
Well, sometimes what I'm doing is reading the actor's emotions and what's going on stage, and trying to translate that to musical atmosphere and make a scene that captures the feeling. And that's a little more of the creative element. But sometimes my percussion is a little bit more literal. I'd strike the rim of a drum to make an axe sound to imitate felling a tree. The story brings in a lot of eroticism, and it's very frank about people's emotions. And I think that goes from anguish at being away from home to sexual attraction, and I love that about the show. And it's nice to see that in a classical text because it humanizes things that we generally see as historical fact. I'd say that the arts are a fundamental part of my life because they are an escape from the everyday grind. They're more emotional, they're more poetic, they're more beautiful. And playing percussion is a way to express that emotion and to find a way of living that doesn't go with the everyday academic life. So I'd say they're crucial in that way.
This style of theater moves characters in and out of narrative, in and out of settings very, 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 very quickly. And so I'm learning how to process action through my body very quickly, which is unique and it's pretty cool. But you're in 100 different countries in 10 minutes, you're 100 different people, you're so many different places and so many different people doing so many different things so quickly that you really have to focus and you really have to know the trajectory of the play. So the issues of fate, I think the issues of grappling with divinity, and I think the issues of grappling with how one comes to go back home when there are all these different roadblocks ahead in front of you definitely resonate. They're very, very, very human issues, and though they're set in an epic, really epic context, I think they're definitely human themes that we can really all relate to. Particularly when you're working on, I think, ancient Greek theater, you need a dramaturg to dredge up the kind of information that Rush knows secondhand because he's a classics professor and because this is his baby. He's been working with things like the Odyssey and things like the Iliad forever. So to have that kind of wealth of information and not have to check Wikipedia or not have to check with a dramaturg is super invaluable. And he's also, extraordinarily willing and allowing to have the actors really participate in the creation process. So it's not necessarily he has a very strict agenda that we must adhere to, but it's a very creative process where we're generating material and generating ideas on the fly as we go.